On today's episode of Maize and Blue Corner, we welcome recruiting insider EJ Holland onto the show. We also answer all of your voicemail questions, list our top 3 favorite pizza chains, and throw out some unpopular opinions. Enjoy the show.
Yep. And we back.
Welcome to episode 8 of Maize and Blue Corner. I am your host today, Max, aka Wolverine Corner. Joining me today is Ben Cooper, and we have Jacob and Ryan from UM vs. Everyone. Before we get started, I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who listens to us every week. We have been so appreciative of all the feedback and all the responses that we've gotten. So if you're listening to this podcast right now, send us a tweet and let us know that you're listening. We love to hear that stuff. Also, no matter where you're listening at, whether it's Apple, YouTube, Spotify, or elsewhere, please subscribe or follow us and leave us a rating if you could too. That stuff helps us out a ton. We're recording this episode on Thursday night, May 28th, and I have a little bit of sad news to share. The Maize and Blue Corner podcast is no longer associated with DoorDash. There will be no further comment at this time. We're going to do this episode a little bit differently today. We're going to get right into voicemail and mailbag questions for our first segment. But before that, I just wanted to say welcome back, Jacob. We missed you. The pod isn't the same without you, and we definitely missed your good vibes. So welcome back.
Thank you very much. I mean, we were recording on Memorial Day. I mean, I had an interview with Scott, and I was hanging out with my family, and I thought, that's my priority.
We don't need your excuses. Come on now.
Oh, okay, sorry.
The pod should be priority number one. We all agreed to that. We made a pact.
I'm in quarantine. I don't get to see my family very much anymore, so.
All right, fair
okay,
enough.
Now I'll answer the question, I guess.
Yeah. So, yes, here's our first voicemail question.
This is Tem_Harbaugh calling in from Muskegon, Michigan. So I want to know what you guys think about the QB situation, especially at Michigan. So there's a lot of speculation on, like, who's better, Milton, McCaffrey, blah, 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 who's got a higher ceiling, blah, blah, blah. And I want to know if you guys think some of this speculation is kind of toxic, especially because Michigan has such a prominent Twitter fan base and just, a fan base in general. So I want to know if you guys think opinions like these are toxic or, in some way irreparable to the program, because as I remember it, when we had the whole Wilton Speight, John O'Korn, and Peters thing going on, it was like we had a quarterback on the field that no one supported. It was split 50-50 for the other two guys sitting on the bench, and it seemed like, that's a hard thing to do if you're the quarterback and half the fan base is with Peters and half the other fan base is with O'Korn. I mean, it's a tough spot to be in. And, I played quarterback my whole life and even played college ball, D2, had some D1 opportunities, but in every place I've been, the rule kind of is you don't really tell the quarterback how to play, you don't. That's for the quarterback coach and the head coach to figure out, the offensive coordinator. You don't really tell a quarterback how to be a quarterback. And honestly, that goes for most positions because we're not more knowledgeable than Division I guys, Like, they're a lot smarter than we give them credit for. So, yeah, I really want to know what you guys think about that.
Thank you for that question. Jacob, you want to take that one first?
For sure. So, with the quarterback situation, it's just, I can see where you're coming from with the toxicity, but like with Michigan fans, we have high demands. So when a quarterback isn't on pace to throw 5,000 yards and 75 touchdowns, we're going to get mad at something. So
rightfully so.
So I could definitely say how Michigan fans respond to that is toxic. But with Dylan McCaffrey and Milton, I don't see that as a really toxic situation. I think both sides of that argument will be happy with whatever happens. Personally, myself, I think Dylan McCaffrey will win the starting job, as he should. But if Joe Milton wins the starting job, I'm not going to complain because I trust the coaching staff with that. With the Wilton Speight O'Korn battle that used to happen, I thought O'Korn was going to start. I was wrong about that at first.
You were Team O'Korn?
I was on Team O'Korn.
Dude,
then
I was on.
Then O'Korn started playing. Then O'Korn started actually playing, and then I wish Tate wasn't hurt.
O'Korn was a gunslinger before he got to Michigan. I thought he was going to be so good.
I mean, yeah, I thought he was going to be good, but
so was fucking Shea Patterson.
I mean,
All right. Hold on, Jacob.
At least O'Korn kept a game close against Ohio State, but that was probably just because the defense didn't allow 60 points.
Hold on, I will say this, Jacob. You said that you don't think there's going to be much of like toxic stuff between McCaffrey or Milton.
I feel like the McCaffrey
hold on.
one's good vibes.
I did see on Instagram, and I don't know if it's true. We don't fact check on the show, so somebody else can do that. But I did see that it's just a rumor. I don't know if it's true, but I don't think that they follow each other on Instagram. So there could be some bad blood there.
I can confirm this. I've spoken to Michigan Wave on the phone. Actually, I have his phone number. Good guy, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I can confirm it. There are some DM changes that I cannot discuss between them. But yes, he posted about it, and Joe Milton is very aware, and he was later blocked. He told me that was okay for to say publicly, but yeah, there's much more under the wraps that I cannot say.
All right, Ben, what do you have to say about this whole thing?
I mean, obviously, I think any smart person, team Mr. McCaffrey, I mean, he's the best quarterback by far.
Do you think it's toxic? That's the main question at hand.
Okay. Am I saying it's toxic? Somewhat. I think when people try to make predictions, like, obviously some people do have inside knowledge, but 97% of people just don't. And when you act like, Joe Milton's hanging out with Devin Gardner and Ronnie Bell, that just means he's going to start. No, it just, I don't know. Like, I think people see what they use on, like, what people post on social media isn't a reflection. Like, everyone is working out. Everyone is going hard. I mean, they're Division I football players at Michigan. I suspect they're both working their asses off. And I don't think it's that toxic mostly, though, just because, like, we're in a quarantine. There's not much else to do, so people just fucking love to type on Twitter. I mean, that's why I got on Twitter, let's be real. So, yeah, I can't hate on it too much.
So I'm going to go ahead and say that the fan speculation, it isn't toxic unless you try and bring another one of our people down. I don't think it's that toxic. Like, if you're saying something like, Milton will win over McCaffrey, that's not bringing someone down. That's just boosting someone up. Now, if you say, like, Milton sucks, then of course that is toxic, and you should not say that about one of the football players that plays for your team. If, like, I have never really been a fan of tweeting at recruits or really players for that matter. So if you're going to be one of those people that's like, hey, you got to, like, who, like, tweets at a recruit or a player and is like, hey, you got to step up your game, then of course that is toxic. Michigan should 100% stop that. Like just stop. Don't even do it. Don't even think about it.
I will say this though, Ryan. We see that stuff after every game. Like the fan and typically the big Michigan accounts. We usually expose those people. Like, people will be like, I remember last year, people were tweeting at Shea Patterson like, oh, nice fucking game out there, like, just sarcastic. Yeah. I'm like, what are we doing? You know, like, what? How are you helping by doing that?
Like, this is a player for your team. He's got feelings too, and he's gonna work his hardest out there. Sometimes you're gonna have an off game. That happens when I play sports. That happens when you play sports. That happens when everyone plays sports. So you can't. I mean, obviously they're better than us, but it doesn't mean that they aren't going to make mistakes. So I think that the speculation is not toxic to a point. I think that if you start to bring the players down, or if you start to, like, I don't know, if you start to tweet at them saying you got to do better at this and this and this, the chances are you don't know. The chances are you don't know better than the coaches. So I think that if you're doing that, then you just got to stop. And I've seen that many places from smaller Michigan accounts, and I think that is absolutely disgusting. So I think that needs to stop. But if you're just debating over who will win a starting job, I think that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, everyone gave a pretty good answer here, so I'm not going to talk too long about it. But to the simple question, is it toxic? Yeah, I mean, I think absolutely it's toxic, because right now it kind of feels like the fan base is almost picking a team right now and, like, dividing. Like, are you team Milton or are you team McCaffrey? And we're guilty. I mean, you've even heard that in our answers today. Like, we're guilty of that too. And I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but it happens. And I mean, whether Joe or Dylan, whether they read their mentions or not, they see this stuff. And I think in a perfect world, obviously the fan base, in a perfect world, we let the quarterback battle play out, and whoever starts. But it's not a perfect world, and that's unrealistic. So, and I also want to say this isn't like a Michigan problem. This happens every fan base. This isn't unique to Michigan. Yes, we have a huge fan base, and yes, we bring out some really toxic people. But I always hate when people say, "Oh, Michigan fans are so terrible." Like, no, like, guess what? Ohio State has the same fans, and Alabama, they all have the same fans. So, yeah, I mean, I think it definitely can be toxic, and it's unfortunate, and I wish everybody would just let it play out and try not to pick teams so early, or pick sides so early, I should say. But it is what it is, and that's just human nature. So that's probably not changing anytime soon. So really good question there. I appreciate it. I also wanted to say you just rambled for like 2 minutes on the voicemail, and like I was about a minute in. I'm like, is this guy ever gonna shut up? So I appreciate the long question there, and I just wanted to roast you a little bit for the rambling. And yeah, so we're gonna move on to our second voicemail question here.
What's up? This is Joe Mama, of course. Love the pod, by the way. I'm from Joe Mama's house, in Ann Arbor somewhere. Anyway, so my question for the pod is, what's your favorite thing about Olivia Rodrigo, star of High School Musical, the series, and quite possibly the most attractive woman alive? Thanks. Love the pod. Keep it going. Go Blue.
Thank you to Joseph for the question. I assume you know I'm a big fan of Olivia Rodrigo. I would say I'm her number one fan, but many people may debate that. To narrow down what I love most about her, I mean, that's not really possible for me. I mean, her acting, her voice, her personality, I mean, that's what makes her truly what she is. And to add in the fact that she's probably the most stunning girl I've ever laid two eyes on, virtually, of course. I've never met her in my real life, but yeah, that's just icing on the cake for me. So I know you're listening to this, Olivia. If you ever want to go on a date, like my Zoom links, my Skype links, probably be in the description below. I don't think Max will let me put them there, but DM me on Twitter. We'll make something happen.
Simp.
Are we done with that one? Are we good to go?
Yeah, sorry about that.
S-I-M-P. Simp.
Holy God.
Okay.
Right. What's up? You want to say something else?
This is just about the simp thing everyone has called me. All right. I'm going to just say this. Like, when you know she's the one, it's okay to simp, bro. I'm just going to say it. Like, I would literally, if there was one girl, I've never met her in my real life. She probably doesn't know I exist besides
Idolize Future.
But like,
you need more Future in your life.
Bro, it's okay to simp if she's the one. I'm just going to say that for all the boys
She belongs to the streets.
Dude, she does not belong to the streets.
She belongs to the streets.
Sorry, I'm just drinking my Mountain Dew Baja Blast Zero here, so I
hope Mountain Dew sees this.
I wanted to plug the.
I hope they see this, bro.
If Ben's allowed to simp for a minute straight, I can plug my Baja Blast Zero there.
Simping, bro.
All right, are we all good on the Olivia Rodrigo question?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I just pronounced her name wrong, but I literally do not care. So
the last name doesn't really matter because like it's just gonna be Cooper in a few years, so it's all good.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so that was.
Moving on.
That was our last voicemail question. We're gonna get into the mailbag questions now. The first mailbag question comes from @BostonYourFace1. He wants to know, who is Michigan going to land, or who are they most likely going to land in the 2021 class for basketball? I'll start us off. I think there's one lock in this class, and I think the lock is going to be Kobe Buffkin. Shooting guard. He's out of Grand Rapids, I believe. Top 100 guy. He's a really good fit, and I would say that he's going to be the lock. I would bet a lot of money that Michigan's going to land him. The next guy I have is Angelo Brizzi. He's a point guard. He's only a 3-star right now, but his recruitment is starting to blow up. A couple months ago, he wasn't even ranked. Really, really good point guard. He's about 6'3", 6'4". He's a really good shooter. I think Michigan's going to have a really good shot with him. Next one I have Jalen Worley. Again, he's a scorer. He's a combo guard, top 30 player. He's kind of a fringe 5-star guy. I don't think that they're going to land all three of those guards that I just named. They'll probably land, 2 of the guards. I doubt all those 3 would fit together. But I think out of those three, I think they're going to land at least two of them. And then the fourth one on my list, I have Peyton Watson. I think he's going to be the lone 5-star in the class for Michigan. He's a top 20 guy. He's a wing, really, really good scorer. He's a one and done type player, extremely athletic. So I think those four. And I also want to say this to Boss in Your Face One. I know you're listening to this right now. This is almost an impossible question to answer. They are trending. I just remember last year when Juwan took over, like, we didn't get involved in some guys until late in the process. So this stuff changes all the time. It wouldn't shock me if Michigan lands, none of those four guys that I just named, and they land four other top 100 players that we don't even know about yet. So it's a tough question to answer, but those would be my four.
All right. Well, I have five. I mean, the only one I really had in common with you is Kobe Buffkin. I mean, he's a top 100 prospect. He's in-state, and his name is Kobe. So, like, he has to be good, right? I mean, his name is Kobe. His name is Kobe. Another, I'm pretty sure he's in-state, is Jaden Akins.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? He's in-state?
He's a beast.
So, I think they'll go after him. Then I have Charles, oh my God, I'm going to butcher this, Bediako.
I love it. Close enough.
All right, and this is like the dream shoot your shot, half-court shot type guy. Go after Patrick Baldwin Jr. He's the number 3 ranked player in the nation, I believe. So, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, so why not pursue the number 3 player in the country? And then I have Musa Diabate. So, yeah, that's my top 5. I was kind of unprepared for this, so I really looked up who they were targeting. I looked up who they were targeting, and then I found the list. I kind of just looked at that in the scholarship situation, who might leave and who is coming back, and I was like, and then I kind of went through that, and I was like, hey, these are 5 guys who make sense.
Speaking of 5 guys, that's trash.
So what I do have in common with a few of them is that Kobe Buffkin, I'm pretty sure, will end up coming to Michigan. I'm not going to make that a guarantee because it's completely possible he goes to Michigan State. But as we've seen, Juwan is a very good recruiter, so I'm very confident in what he can do. Jaden Akins is another one that I think will most likely come to Michigan. He's a point guard out of Farmington, so he's obviously from Michigan. Michigan's in his top 5, so I think that Juwan has a pretty good shot at landing him. He's a top 100 player. He's actually ranked 95th right now, and I think that can only go up. And a few more that I think are possible are like Trevor Keels. Trevor Keels is another shooting guard. Now, the problem with that is that even though he's a 5-star, he would be a great pickup to get. And Michigan is also in his top 5, but Juwan's going to be recruiting against schools such as Duke, Virginia, and Villanova. So I think that that's a little bit more of a reach. And then Patrick Baldwin is also a little bit more of a reach. But again, as Jacob said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So he's Michigan, I believe, is in his top 5. Do I think that we're going to get him? No. Is it possible? Yes. My last player that I think is possible. So I basically did 2 people that I think we're going to get and 3 people that I think it's possible to get. I think that Kennedy Chandler, it's not looking great, but I think that it is possible to get him. It's a non-zero chance. If we could pick up a point guard such as Kennedy Chandler, that is like a really, really good thing for Juwan. It's a really great sign for how good he is at recruiting. So, again, I don't think we're going to get him, but is it a non-zero chance? The answer to that is yes.
All right. You guys, I had about 4 names listed down. They were all said. So I'm just gonna ignore the list, but I will say, I think we're gonna get a couple transfers. I think Ryan Wade, Brandon Wade's brother. I don't know. I know he grew up in Ann Arbor, went to Skyline High School. I think if he has a successful second year, he could consider transferring. And if Juwan would give him a spot, I definitely could see him joining the team. But yeah, all the players I listed were said, so I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, and I actually wanted to comment on a couple things. Ryan said Kennedy Chandler. I'm pretty sure he released his top 5 and Michigan's not in it. I'm just going to throw that out there. Also, between Kobe Buffkin and Akins. I feel like one is going to Michigan and one is going to Michigan State. Again, I could be wrong, and I don't know which is going where. I'd have to say that Michigan State's probably going to land Akins. Michigan's going to end up with Kobe Buffkin. That would be my guess. So, however, like I said earlier, recruiting is so stupid. Anything can change. So, yeah. I mean, anyone have anything else to add to that? Nope. Good.
No.
Nah.
Okay, so this one is a mailbag from armchair quarterback _UM. He said, "Who is your Michigan Twitter Rookie of the Year?" And then in parentheses, 1 year or less on Twitter. We kind of bended the timeline a little bit here. I know my pick is a little bit over than a year on Twitter, but yeah, who's your Michigan Twitter Rookie of the Year? Ben, go ahead.
All right, this was a very tough call, considering I have a bit of an ego. So I was thinking about putting myself, considering I've only really been active on Twitter since I believe the beginning of April, maybe the end of March. I had a couple of tweets, but yeah. So I was thinking about putting myself, but I did make my thing. I think I was like in 7th grade. I entered like 10 giveaways for YouTubers, thinking I was gonna win, and yeah, I created my account in 2017. So I can't really put myself. Yeah, it's similar to the Ben Simmons situation. I mean, he shouldn't have fucking won Rookie of the Year, but that's
So
another
random.
story. Well, no, it's definitely related. It's a similar concept. Okay.
All right, what is it?
TikTok, they're my winner by far. They got, I think, 600 plus. They really have started like less than 2 months ago, maybe even less than a month. And yeah, the boys are pretty goated. So yeah, they already had Nunez and Hunter Dickinson in a TikTok. So yeah, they had to be my number one.
My Rookie of the Year nomination is actually someone that I know. I don't know if you guys know, but at Yames is Lames from Twitter. His name is James, if you could guess. He is my Michigan Twitter Rookie of the Year. He has technically been on Twitter for over a year, but he's really been on Michigan Twitter for like 8 months, maybe 9 months. So I think that he definitely fits the criteria.
Did you have well, I'll say this. We have a couple acceptance speeches that we'll
Oh yeah.
we have a recorded one from Maize Talk. We will play that. We'll play that after we all answer, and then we'll all read everyone's acceptance speeches after we answer. So, Jacob, who's your Michigan Twitter Rookie of the Year?
T-Will season. I mean, I didn't know we were supposed to get a recorded one, but if you're listening to this T-Will season, congratulations. I chose you. I mean, shut up, Ben.
Pikachu, I choose
I'm just gonna say it
you.
right now.
Look,
Why
couldn't we have made this 2 years? I could have just picked myself then.
Fair enough.
I mean, mine's made in October.
I will say this. versus Everyone was my favorite new Michigan account from the second I found them. So that account was goated from the start.
I actually started the account as a real troll account. I think it was Urban New.
Urban New.
Which is really messed up now. But I was new to Twitter then. I didn't really know. But then Urban retired, so I was just like, what do I do now? Because now I just have this. I changed it to versus Everyone. So and then it's just stuck from there. And the account's gotten some popularity, so it's great.
That's when I hopped on right as he made the transition, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm more active than you usually, but
Damn.
you're a big country. He agrees with that. Why are you
I mean,
I'm not throwing
it's
shade.
Not,
That's
it's
a
not
fact.
wrong. It's not wrong.
I feel
All right, so my Michigan Twitter Rookie of the Year, and I didn't want to do two of the same person, but here we are. Mine is also T-Will season. Jacob, I agree with you. His account is so good. It's hilarious. There's memes, there's jokes, there's trolling, and obviously he's hilarious in the group chat as well. So definitely follow him. His real name is Tyler. I don't know. He better be okay with me saying that, but I won't give his last name. But his @ is @TWill SZN, so T-Will season. He's hilarious. So he's definitely my Michigan Twitter Rookie of the Year, and I actually have his acceptance speech here. He didn't do a recorded one. He just texted me it, so he wanted me to read this. So here we go. He said, "Ladies and gentlemen, let me first start off by saying I feel blessed to be accepting this prestigious award today and truly never expected to be in this position. Without my family, friends, and followers, this would never be a possibility." He said, "I'm a young gazelle still growing and still trying to reach the top of my potential. This is just the beginning. I would also like to give a shout out to all the other great candidates that are just as worthy of this award as me. But we all have a bright future ahead of us." Hold on, I have to control myself here. He said, "A wise woman once said, I fucked Ted, and that has inspired me to grow into what I've become today."
Ted Bundy?
So he said, "Thank you." And also, he said also, and I want to say fuck Memphis. So that was Tyler's acceptance speech.
Penny Hardaway is great value, Juwan Howard.
Ryan, did you have an acceptance speech?
Yes, I did
James?
have an acceptance speech from James.
Let's hear it.
So he said, "Thank you so much for giving me the Michigan Twitter Rookie of the Year award. And even though I wrote this speech that I am not actually delivering myself literally 2 minutes after realizing that it was a thing, I am still deeply honored to be the recipient of such a coveted award. Did I deserve it? I honestly have no idea. But hey, no complaints.
No.
I'll take it. Thank you again for the award. God bless you all."
I love it.
What a
great
That's a
guy.
pretty James. That's a pretty James.
That is a
speech.
very James.
That was a good guy
acceptance.
answer. Yeah, I respect
Yeah,
it.
so, and then we also have an acceptance speech from Maize Talk. We had it recorded, so we will cut that into the podcast right now.
Hey there, it's the boys at Maize Talk. First off, we want to thank our friend B-Coop for nominating us. You know, he's always been our favorite anyways. Although we've only been on Twitter for a little over a month, the Maize Talk vision has been around for a long time. It started back in kindergarten when our teacher asked us what we wanted to be when we grew up, and so we told her we wanted to run a Michigan Twitter page together. Well, Mrs. Ferguson, we made it. We know our parents are so proud of us, and we wouldn't be here without their continuous love and support. We also want to thank the MSU fans who live in our mentions, like Mike Lickums. Shout out Mike, he has 7 followers. Good job, bro. A special shout out to Rick for showing us how not to run a Michigan Twitter page or leak breaking news. Our biggest shout out goes to Adrian Nunez and Hunter Dickinson for collabing with us. These videos are just the start of what we have planned. Now it's time for us to celebrate. You can catch us all doing cartwheels, yelling "Go Blue." You know, you might even catch us getting so crazy that we'll smoke a couple cigars and post a selfie on Twitter. Thank you, and go Blue.
Thank you for that acceptance speech, Maize Talk. You guys are pretty goated over there, so that was a very beautiful speech. I appreciate that. Moving on to our next question here. This is a mailbag question from Luke Roach 15. He said, "What is your go-to food and drink when you stop at a gas station?" Ryan, what are you thinking about this?
So for people that know me well, I really like sweets, like to a fault, but I actually prefer trolley sour gummy worms as my first go-to for a snack at a gas station. So I have often, when I was younger, asked my parents to get those when I was there to not get, and I didn't get them. But that's always what I went to first, and that's still what I go to first is the trolley sour gummy worms. And I'm not, even though I love pop, I swear if you call it soda, you can just leave. But I would usually say a pop, but I'm actually gonna go with lemonade here because I've been more trying to get to cut down on that. But yeah, I'm gonna go with lemonade. It's really
what
good.
What kind of brand are you talking?
I mean, anything is cool with me.
You a Simply Lemonade?
Simply Lemonade's good. Brisk is good. Just
I'm not a big Brisk guy, but Simply Lemonade is a W in my book.
Yeah.
Right. I'll go next. So Jacob, in case anyone's so confused about that. I guess for a drink, I like Gatorade a lot, and my favorite flavor would be the Cool Blue flavor. That's a good flavor. Okay.
Cool Blue for a cool.
No,
Blue
just
is great.
Just wait.
Or Glacier Freeze. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Food wise, I don't trust gas station food very much. I
Okay,
mean,
you have like
oh, I
candy chips,
guess
anything like that.
I guess like I would maybe get a box of M&Ms would be
Yeah.
great.
All
You know,
right,
those are good.
fair enough.
M&Ms are a very good candy. Nice road
With
candy.
or without the nut?
Without.
Excuse
I'm allergic to nuts.
Oh, okay.
Oh
So
boy.
just plain M&Ms. All right, bet.
Pretzel M&Ms were lit when they had those. I don't know if those are still a thing. I wish they were.
I think
All
they are,
right,
but
so my go-to and the reason my go-to gas station food and the reason I said that when you were talking, Jake, we're gonna have to start comparing answers because I literally have written down, I have Gatorade Cool Blue written down,
Dog.
and I was like, once you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. So when I'm stopping in a gas station, I'm usually grabbing a Gatorade, preferably Cool Blue. I'm also just an old-fashioned lemon lime fan, but I pretty much like most of the flavors of Gatorade. They had this weird ass cucumber flavor that I tried once. I almost
fuck
threw
with that
up.
one. No.
It was the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted in my entire life. It was a catastrophe. I could not believe that was produced at one point. I think they actually still make it. It's disgusting.
That's a terrible flavor.
Yeah. So I also have down like just a Reese's peanut butter cup. I mean, I feel like that is just like you're up there, just grab a Reese's, and I also have like just like the half containers of Pringles that they have. I'm always snacking on those too. So those are my three: Gatorade, Cool Blue, and a Reese's and Pringles.
And what was the Pringles flavor?
Again, this is because I like most Pringles. The pizza flavor Pringles.
That's facts.
They smack pretty good. I mean.
Dude, as long as you don't get the original.
The cheese ones,
yeah.
I actually don't mind the original.
I mean, they're not bad. They're just not like I wouldn't take them.
Yeah, I'll say pizza flavored would be my first choice.
All right, honestly, pretty solid list so far, but this was tough. I was gonna go soda, but I've been trying to cut down on my soda recently. So I said vitamin water, the XXX flavor, rest in peace. But I think vitamin water is just objectively better than Gatorade. I don't know why.
I mean, it's not.
You drink colored water.
It's just
Wait,
not.
you drink colored water? Why would you drink
so bad
colored water?
Hey, yeah. I like vitamin water sometimes.
Vitamin water is terrible.
Vitamin water is good as long as it doesn't taste like
water
nothing.
is water. You shouldn't alter water.
Wait,
any variation of water is terrible.
Dude, I swear you just never had it. You just think it's dyed water?
No, I hate vitamin water.
No, vitamin water is good. Vitamin water Zero is so bad in my eyes. But like Gatorade Zero is better than like vitamin water Zero. But regular vitamin water, I mean, vitamin water, it's just the XXX flavor. Like I would never drink any other flavor.
See, I think the Gatorade Zero to me is like I drink like almost exclusively Diet Pop, but when I get like Gatorade Zero, it's too salty for me. Like I don't know, I don't like the Zero very much.
It's salty.
Yeah, it has like a salty taste to it. Like anything diet typically has like a salty taste to me. So I don't know.
I mean, from the last episode, I thought you were gonna say spicy. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, Gatorade Zero is too spicy for me, guys.
All right, so I haven't done my food yet. So I said either pizza combos, they hit differently, or some cheese Chex Mix.
I almost had combos on my list, by the way.
Combos are slept on.
Yeah, they are. They are.
But yeah, that's my list.
I think everybody had a solid list. No complaints here. That was pretty good. All right, so we have our last mailbag question from Maize Talk, recent Michigan Twitter Rookie of the Year winners. Maize Talk. They just wanted to know, do we prefer spring water or purified water? I kind of added this to our list of topics, so we don't really have an order that we're going in here. So I'll just start off first. I'm passionate about this topic. I think spring water. I think spring water is terrible. I mean, it is horrible. Like it is so bad to me. If you don't drink purified water, I will judge you. Like it. I will never take another drink of spring water again. There's not. It's terrible. Anybody else go next? Yeah.
Like I already said, water is water. Like water doesn't taste the same. Not all waters are created equal. So, as any water drinker will tell you,
agreed.
Purified water is better. It tastes better. You can't explain why. It is just better. Simply.
Exactly. I agree.
Any objections?
All right, I'm gonna be honest. I don't drink either of them. I'm a tap water kid. I fuck with the environment. I fuck with turtles. I'm a big turtle activist myself. If you've seen Outer Banks, that's what I mean. That's
You
why
watch Outer Banks.
I'm a big fan of turtles. I'm a big fan of Outer Banks. But if I had to choose, I'm a big Voss guy. I'd like to bathe in it. But besides that, yeah, I'm Voss. So I think that's spring water. So I'm gonna go with spring water.
May I add that Fiji water is the best water?
Fiji
It's
water?
just expensive.
It's overhyped as fuck, bro.
Fiji water
Fiji
is
is
the best.
purified though, so let's
Like it's
start
good.
there.
Yeah, Fiji's
Let's-
good.
I mean, I don't
Let's
even
go
know
ahead.
if Voss is purified. I don't drink this shit.
Fiji is
bro.
expensive for a reason because it's the best.
So if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I think that I agree with most people that purified is definitely better than spring water. So and there's one main reason I say that. If any of you have ever had Deer Park water, that's spring water, it is the worst stuff I've ever had. I'm just gonna let you know that. Don't try it. It is terrible.
Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
And most of the good water that I've ever had is purified. Like right now, I'm drinking Sam's Club purified water.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really good. So honestly, I just prefer purified. It's just spring water can't really compare that much.
To me, it literally feels like if you open up your bottle of water and you dump like 25 pennies in it and you just let it sit overnight, like that's what spring water tastes like to me.
Boys,
It just-
let's be real. Like, I mean, the world is already fucked. Let's just stop buying bottled water. I'm just gonna say it.
I will never drink tap water ever.
Yeah. Your kids
I mean-
are gonna regret that.
You
kidding.
know what? You're probably right.
You're probably right.
All
All
actually,
right,
but-
we just spent like a
Fucking
solid 5
kids.
minutes debating purified or
When we all agreed on it.
All right, so moving on, we're gonna move on to another segment here. This is our top 3 of the pod. This is top 3 pizza chains, and I'm actually gonna sit this one out. Admittedly, I don't eat a lot of pizza. I think it's terrible for you. It tastes good, but it's terrible for you. And I also have, self-admittedly, I have a bad heart. Like I had heart surgery like last summer, so I try to stay away from foods that are not like good for your heart. And my heart surgery had nothing to do with like what I eat, but like I just try to be more conscious about like, you know, what I'm doing to my heart now, because the doctors told me your heart's pretty important. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they told me.
I'm pretty sure you can't live without it. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's why I don't eat red meat typically very often. I try to stay away from like pizza and shit like that. So I'm gonna sit this one out for the purpose of me just not eating a lot of pizza over the last year. So whoever wants to start us off, go ahead.
All right. I can start us off. Firstly, Max, fuck you for making me feel guilty for loving pizza.
No, it's all good. Don't worry about it.
I feel like I gotta go on a diet now. But all right, this is a pretty tough. We're doing like chains, right? It's like bigger chains, so that we're not doing local places. Okay. Yeah. So I did my honorable mention. This is probably not on anyone's list. It's not on mine, but it is an honorable mention. Little Caesars. That place is so cheap. I mean, I'm balling on a budget at this point. I'm in high school. So, I mean, I go there quite often for lunch, and you can get I split a pizza with my friend. That's $3. And yeah, that's good pizza. Number 3, I got to go with Cottage Inn. Cottage Inn is very slept on. I'm a big fan of the thin crust. That boy, I'm a ranch with pizza guy myself. Sometimes pineapple, but I'm a big ranch with pizza guy. I think.
Ranch.
I am too. I fuck with ranch.
As long as you have,
Hey, you're sitting this out, remember? Don't
yeah.
I'm sorry.
As long as
It's
you have,
just a ranch take, not a pizza take.
yeah. As long as you have pepper flakes with the pizza, and then you got the ranch, like that's a good combo. And Cottage Inn,
Flakes are too spicy for me,
dude,
bro.
oh my god. the Cottage Inn, the thin slice goes really good with the pepper flakes and ranch, so I had to put it there. Blaze Pizza is my number 2. I think it's the best customizable pizza place. I mean, I haven't been to them all, but I've been to quite a few in Ann Arbor, and I really like Blaze. Lastly, number 1, the pride of pizza chains in the world. I heard from my dad they had probably the worst beginning slice of pizza, but now it's very, very elite, and that's why Domino's is my number 1 pizza chain.
So I'm gonna go ahead and actually start with honorable mention 2, and my honorable mention just so happens to be Domino's. Domino's is it's really hit or miss, but for me, if you go, you got to get the right type of thing. For me, I get the pan pizza with cheddar and with cheddar added and with pepperoni. That's what makes me really like Domino's. But if you get certain other things, it's not amazing. So that's why it's just an honorable mention for me. My other honorable mention is a place that I know that many people have never heard of, so that's why I didn't make my top 3, and it's Home Run Inn. If you didn't ever live in Illinois, you're probably not going to know what it is. But they've got like frozen pizzas out in stores sometimes, and I remember really liking it when I lived there. But to start off with my top 3, my number 3 is Pizza House. I only qualify it as a chain because I'm pretty sure that there's more than one place.
There is.
Like if you didn't know, Pizza House is there's one in Ann Arbor. They have like a variety of different types of pizzas. They have Chicago deep dish. They have regular pizza. I love it. The few times I've been there, it's been one of my favorites like since I've moved here. Cottage Inn is my number 2. It is just so good. Like their ranch is really good. Everything about their pizza is good because they have like flavored crust and whatnot. And it's just you feel like they spend more time on it, and that's why I love it so much. Yeah. And my number 1 is another place that some people have never heard of. It's called Giordano's, and it's going to be the best Chicago-style pizza you're going to get from a chain. If you've ever had Chicago-style pizza, it's kind of like eating like a pie. And so don't pick it up with your hands because you're going to get looked at weird. But I swear, and I will die on this hill, that Chicago-style pizza is the best pizza out there. It's better than any other type of pizza. And that's why I have Giordano so high. It's just so good. It's my favorite type of pizza.
All right. I'm a sucker for deep dish too. It's the best type of pizza. Plain and simple. So getting to my list.
Is it pizza?
Yes, it's pizza.
I don't know.
Getting to my list.
More of a lasagna.
No. No,
Bro,
not even
carry
close.
on.
All right, well, you're the one interrupting, so I guess my honorable mention would be also Little Caesars. I mean, it's a great pizza. It's cheap. It's overall pretty good pizza.
Respect.
Now getting to number 3, Jets Pizza. I mean,
oh my god,
Jets is great. It's simple. I don't know. It's just something.
Jets is very good.
Like Jets is very good. Number 2, Cottage Inn. It's a local place. It's a chain, but it's overall, it's very great pizza. Now, number 1 is Pizza House. Actually, I don't know. It's just something.
Is that
Pizza House is a chain. They have locations in Ann Arbor and East Lansing. So
yeah, but that's like I don't know.
It's a chain. They deliver.
I'll count it. I mean, people
it's
listening.
Chain.
Know what that
you didn't.
I feel like that's a little cheating. I feel like that's a little cheating.
How?
I don't know. Then I could
chain.
have said like Joe's Pizza because they have multiple. Like it's.
I was thinking. If a restaurant has. Well, if you're around, I'm not gonna make mainstream from where I'm from, so. Pizza House. I don't know. I just really love Pizza House. It's the deep dish is great, and one of the most fun I've actually ever had watching any Michigan sporting event was watching Michigan beat the brakes off of Texas A&M in the Sweet 16 at Pizza House. I was there. We got there like 2 hours before tip-off so we could get a seat. We waited around, and then they started launching threes on them. Then like the whole place went crazy when C.J. Barry hit the last second three. So that was great.
That is a moment that will stay with you forever.
Mm-hmm. So that's mine.
Just to interrupt here. Well, I mean, I'm not really interrupting. Everyone's done. But as a non-pizza enthusiast like you guys, I will have to chime in here and say that deep dish is trash. It's not even pizza. I mean,
no.
Deep dish is. It isn't bad, but it's not pizza. It's fucking lasagna.
It's like lasagna, bro. You gotta eat it with a fork, and I mean, give me a break. Like it's just not. If the sauce is on top, it ain't pizza. So.
Okay,
that's not true at all. But
that's what I said.
That's not how I define pizza. But
deep dish.
The sauce is always on top.
No, I mean if the sauce is like if the stuff is in the middle with the sauce on top, like that's not the way pizza's supposed to be made. So so like most Chicago style is trash. Like there's really nothing else to say about it.
You don't need to eat pizza. I don't think it's pizza, but I think it's pretty good. But you don't even fucking eat pizza, so I feel like that's a good judge.
I think that your opinion should be disqualified from this one.
Well, you actually didn't have a vote.
That's completely fair. So yeah, that was our top 3 of this podcast, top 3 pizza chains. We're gonna move on to this week's interview with EJ Holland. Right now, EJ is the GOAT of Michigan Twitter cover or Michigan recruiting coverage. I'm sorry. He's just killing it out there. What he's doing for Rivals right now is spectacular. So I think you're really gonna enjoy this interview. Here's EJ Holland.
Like, we try to keep it lighthearted, but obviously if there's anything you don't want to answer, just feel free. Just let me know. I'll just edit it out, and yeah, it'll be all good.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thanks for taking the time to come on the Maize and Blue Corner podcast today. How are you doing today, EJ?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks for coming on. I assume everyone who's listening to this knows that you're a Michigan recruiting insider for Rivals and the Wolverine, but what exactly would you say your job entails?
For me, it's, mostly going out and seeing basically anybody that Michigan's targeting. If a recruit has a Michigan offer, they're obviously on my radar, and, some guys are higher on the board than others, but I try to get out and see as many Michigan targets and commits as possible. So just making live evaluations at various events, as well as getting on the phone with the kids and just developing relationships with them, their parents and those around them, and obviously reporting, on the Wolverine, as far as, their recruitments, as well as, some personal introspective stories as well. But, I'm a reporter by trade. I have my journalism degree, and try to do my best to evaluate in person as well. And then, just social media, message board stuff obviously comes with the territory as well. So love to interact with the fan base.
As we're recording this, it is Tuesday, May 26th. And I saw that you posted, I believe it was Monday or maybe it was Sunday, that you were in Houston yesterday and you are going to Miami tomorrow. So do you travel a lot for your job?
Yeah, definitely. I probably travel like half the year when the coronavirus pandemic isn't going on. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to really settle into the beat. I spent 5 years on the Texas beat, and so this has been my first year covering Michigan. And so I don't think a lot of people have been able to really see kind of what I usually do. So like, on a normal spring when I was covering Texas, I would hit upwards of 40 high schools for spring football. And then in the fall, I usually hit around 50 games. I didn't quite get there last year on my first year on the Michigan beat, just because I was moving from Dallas to Chicago. But, I've covered games all across the country. And then this off season, I had a chance to do some events here in Chicago, Nashville, Las Vegas, Orlando, before it all got canceled. And then, I've started traveling a little more. So I went up to Boston a few weeks ago and was in Nashville to see Junior Colson, and then obviously in Houston to see Christian Dixon on Monday, and then tomorrow going out to see the Michigan guys in Miami.
You said that you started out, you didn't always start out with Michigan. Why did you choose to come to Michigan as opposed to other schools?
It was really random. I've been a Texas guy all my life. I was born and raised in Texas, went to college in Texas. So, I grew up in not the best circumstances. So I actually had never left the state of Texas until I was 21, like even to go on a trip or anything. So I just always wanted to see something new and do something that, I didn't really have an opportunity to do as a kid. So I wanted to kind of travel around and see new places and stuff. And Michigan was very appealing because it is a true national beat. And it's one of those, like, I feel like I had it really made at the Texas side, and I could have just stayed there and retired on the Texas beat. But I really wanted to do something new, and Michigan was a handful of schools that I thought would be really awesome to cover. Actually, when Land of 10 still existed, I got offered the Michigan job, and I really wanted to take it, but the details of that contract just didn't work out, and then they ended up folding anyway. So luckily I didn't take it at the time, but I am glad to be on the Michigan beat. It just kind of worked out. I actually was, like I said, just trying to do something new, and the Notre Dame job came open at Rivals, and I ended up switching over from the 24/7 Texas site to the Notre Dame site at Rivals. And I absolutely hated it. Covering Notre Dame sucked, and it just wasn't the right fit for me. And the Michigan job came open a few months after I took the Notre Dame job, and I was like, I want that job. So I called my boss, because our company also owns a Notre Dame site. So can't say too many bad things about Notre Dame, but I called him and I was like, I really, really want that Michigan job. And so luckily they were able to give it to me right before football season started. So I think now is finally the time where I'm starting to really get into the beat and covering it like recruiting should be covered, the way we do it down south. So hopefully people have seen a difference in the way Michigan recruiting is being covered, and we'll continue to see it as I continue to get settled in and I can actually travel and stuff once all this stuff is over.
For sure. How would you say like the Michigan fan base? Obviously, many say it's very crazy. How has your experience been of the Michigan fan base?
I love the fan base. That's like a big draw for me. It's funny because when I was covering Texas and right when I was leaving the Texas beat, Texas has a crazy fan base, but the most delusional fan base in all of college football is Texas A&M. Their fan base is horrible. And so a lot of people, they are really, really crazy, like as in crazy. But a lot of people are like, Michigan's just the Texas A&M of the North, and like Notre Dame's going to be a lot like Texas. And then they're like completely wrong. It's like actually kind of the opposite. So I think the Michigan fan base is a lot like the Texas fan base, crazy, but also not delusional and really interactive and fun. And so it's been awesome to get to know a lot of the Michigan fans. And yes, it did seem insulting to lump Michigan in with Texas A&M. So I'm glad it didn't turn out like that, because I really do like the fans, and everybody's been really supportive of everything I've done and really interactive and cool. And it's recruiting. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to like involve the fan base and stuff. So I like how everybody is really invested. And I got to go to the Big House for the first time in September, and it was just really cool to be in that type of environment, to see the stadium, to see the fans, and Ann Arbor's a great town as well. So really excited to be a part of the community at Michigan.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, like, how often, like, obviously you said you only went to, like, one game last year, but how often do you get to be in Ann Arbor, and, like, how many games would you typically, like, be able to go to?
Probably none, to be honest. I was on the Texas beat for 5 years, and I went to 0 games. Damn. So it's pretty crazy. I spend most of my time covering recruiting. Like, I only got to watch like 2 or 3 Michigan games. Well, the one I went to, which was the Middle Tennessee State game, and then I watched the Ohio State game, the Notre Dame game, and then the bowl game. So in total I watched like 4 Michigan games, but on TV. But yeah, I don't get to do that often, just because, well, one, I don't cover the team. We have great football writers, Chris Ballas, Austin Fox, and Clayton Saffy, but for me, I'm more recruiting oriented. So on the weekends, I'm out watching recruits, or I'm traveling home from, seeing a prospects game. Like even that Notre Dame game, I watched on TV in a hotel room here in Chicago, because I flew from Dallas. I hadn't moved yet. So I flew from Dallas to Chicago to watch AJ Henning on Friday, and then JJ McCarthy on Saturday, and then I ran over to the hotel because I really wanted to watch the game. So for me, like, there's a lot of kids that play games on Saturdays, and whenever I travel out of town, I'm trying to see as many kids as I can, in that city. So a lot of my weekends are taken up in the fall just covering recruiting, so I never really get to watch a lot of. It's crazy. I don't watch a lot of college football as much as I would like to. It's just not really possible with the job I have. My whole thing is being recruiting centric and being on the road. So yeah, I don't get to watch the team very often. I don't know like a ton about the team just because I'm all over recruiting. And then once one cycle's done, I'm on to the next cycle and the next cycle, So it's weird how recruiting works as far as, balancing it with the team because there is no balance on 100% recruiting.
Yeah, I never really thought about that, but that's interesting that you bring it up. You brought up JJ McCarthy. Obviously, many people know he's very quite hyped up, but like in specific, what do you think Michigan could expect from JJ McCarthy?
I love JJ. I've had a chance to get to know JJ really, really well over the course of the last few months since I moved up here to Chicago. And, a big reason I live in Chicago as opposed to Ann Arbor is being able to utilize the airports, O'Hare and Midway, and get to all these places. But it's great to have JJ here in Chicago, and unfortunate for me that he's going to IMG Academy, but fortunate for him because he'll have, some better coaching and training and access to top-notch facilities and working with other elite caliber players. So as far as, JJ as a person, he's just so awesome to talk to. There isn't, a really better kid in the class than JJ and Junior Colson. I mean, those two guys from a personality standpoint and just a willingness to win and kind of bleeding maize and blue, those two guys really embody that. And from an on-the-field perspective, I mean, JJ has one hell of an arm. I wouldn't say it's like, he's not a big-bodied, strong-arm guy like a Peyton Manning or something like that. But he's a guy that can just fling it. I mean, a flick of a wrist and it'll go 60 yards. So he has a really strong arm. His build's coming along well. I think there were a lot of knocks on his size early on. He was listed at like 170 pounds or something. I think those knocks on him are very unwarranted at this time. A lot of people should come out to Chicago and see him or go down to IMG and see him because he's literally hovering around 200 pounds. He's really built well now. He's 6'2", 200. I mean, what else do you want at that point in his development? And he's just really flawless mechanically. He's been working with private quarterback trainer Greg Holcomb here in Chicago, who does a tremendous job with JJ. He's accurate. He's poised. He's a tremendous leader. I mean, there isn't really a lot of faults in JJ's game right now. He can make plays with his legs. He's very cerebral. I likened him to Johnny Manziel without the off the field issues. So complete opposite personality wise off the field, but very similar in how they play. Like JJ's ability to make plays with his legs and his escapability in the pocket are two things that a lot of people don't talk about. But if you come see him live, you can just see his ability to make defenders miss and still complete a crazy pass. So I really like that comparison for JJ from a pure on the field standpoint. And I think, he'll turn the ball over here and there. He'll make some dicey throws because he trusts his arm too much, but he's a guy you just kind of live and die with, kind of like, Johnny. So I feel like JJ brings everything that Michigan wants in their future quarterback. And I do fully believe that JJ is finally going to be the guy that Michigan has been wanting at that position for a long time.
On somewhat of a similar note, obviously, as we're recording this, Junior Colson and Jaden Hood recently committed. If you had to say, what is one recruit that you are most confident about that will be for the 2021 class?
The recruit I'm most confident in joining the 2021 class, that's a tough one now just because we're kind of winding down to where we, are having limited spots. I would say some guys I feel really, really good about at this point would be Christian Dixon, who I just saw. I think Michigan's gaining a lot of traction with him, and I put in a future cast pick not too long ago. He's from the same youth program as Darion Green-Warren. Very high academic kid, open to leaving the West Coast. So really like where Michigan stands and is trending with him. Drew Kendall is another kid that I could see committing soon. I think Michigan's been the outright leader for quite some time, and it's just a matter of closing with him. So he could be another top 100 guy to add to the three they already have committed along the offensive line. Defensive wise, I think they're pretty, locked in with the linebackers they have. They would like to get a couple more. But if I had to feel really confident about maybe a recruit, I haven't put in a pick for him yet, but I think Michigan's definitely trending the right way for Quentin Somerville out of Arizona. So those are just a few that I would feel more confident in at this time. But like I said, it's getting to that point in the cycle where you're going to have to start winning the bigger recruitments, and maybe you'll have some guys pop up here and there. But, Michigan's already, like 9-10 spots away from finishing this class out.
Yeah. Would you say you have any like funny or some of your like favorite recruiting or stories or interactions with players that come to mind?
I mean, since I've been on the Michigan beat, for just a year, I don't have like, crazy stories like I would from my time at Texas, but just, from this cycle, I would say some of the better stories are, when I went to see JJ at his training session, when I was doing the big profile on him, it was cool because you could just tell like right away, like, man, this guy loves what he's doing. Like it was something really like trivial. Like his quarterback coach was like, JJ, didn't like the way you went through that play action handoff, which like is something easily correctable or, really minuscule thing. And JJ gets so upset at himself that he drops down and does 50 push-ups. Like he really wants to be perfect. And, he also has like a really cool swagger. Like he turned around to me and he was like, hey, watch this throw. It's going to be fire, man. Like he'll just do that. Or, in 7-on-7, he'll turn around to me because I can be directly behind them filming. He'll turn around and be like, you see that guy? He was ass. Like, like he just has like a really cool personality. And then getting to know Junior was super awesome, especially going over to his house and doing that big profile on him and his journey from being at an orphanage in Haiti to being a Michigan commit. I mean, he has the best recruiting story in college football right now. So, that was cool, just sitting down and meeting with him and his family. And I got to do the same thing, with Lewis Hanson and his family in Boston a couple of weeks ago. I had dinner at their house and did a big video Q&A with Louis. So both those dinners were cool. Just I always enjoy meeting with the family and just kind of getting more in-depth stuff. And, the way I approach recruiting reporting is kind of like, it's more of a family. Like I really invest in these kids and care about them and getting to know them and their family. So that was cool. And, while I was out there, it's crazy covering recruiting during a pandemic because everybody kind of just stares at you and they're like, should these kids even be on the field or not? So when I went out to Boston, I had Lewis Hanson, TJ Guy, Casey Finney, all Michigan commits, and then a few underclassmen targets at the field. And then we got kicked off the field because someone complained. And then we went to another field and we did a workout there. And then towards the end of the workout, some like random school official came and was like, you can't do this here. So it's just like crazy trying to do all this while, the coronavirus stuff is going on. But those are just a few like anecdotes. I mean, I don't have a ton just because I haven't been on the beat for that long. But I would just say a lot of these kids in this class have been really awesome to get to know and really interact with. And when I'm evaluating recruits, that's something I look for as far as checking a box, just seeing like, are these, turd kids are more likely to bust than good kids. And I think Michigan has a lot of good kids and not any turd kids committed this cycle.
Yeah, I read the Junior Colson article, and if anyone's listening, I would definitely recommend it. It was very inspiring, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely check that out, over at the Wolverine. We're actually offering a promo code Blue60. You get 60 days free, and you can get, all the insider access. But that store is actually free. You don't have to be a subscriber. It's really awesome. I mean, the kid literally grew up in Haiti. His parents died. He went to an orphanage. He went through the 2010 earthquake there that was extremely devastating, and then was adopted, came to Nashville, and had to settle in with a new family, didn't know any English. He literally tried to kick a football instead of, making tackles and stuff, because he was so used to just like playing soccer. He didn't even know what football was. And now he's, a top 100 linebacker, or a top 100 recruit in the country, and one of the top, overall linebackers as well. And he's just an awesome kid. Like I said, him and JJ are two of the best kids you'll ever meet. So I would definitely recommend checking that out as well.
All right. That is all the sports-related questions. But every episode, we like to do a top 3 question that is just not sports-related. And I saw in your bio it said that you are a pizza connoisseur. So for this week, we are going to do our top 3 pizza chains.
Top 3 pizza chains. Okay. Yeah, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to think for like the actual pizzas. But yeah, because I was gonna be like, man, well, Spring Street's Pizza over in New York, like that's dope, and Giordano's here in Chicago. But if we're going chains, oh man, pizza chains. See, I try to avoid chains just because I go, I try to try the local flavor. But every now and then you're like, it's 3 a.m. Let's get some pizza. So I would say, you know what? I didn't like them to begin with, but I feel like they've risen as the top pizza chain because they changed like their pizza up and their whole approach. Like Domino's now has the best pizza, and they used to be trash like years back. So if you haven't had Domino's because they were trash years back, I definitely try Domino's now because they've upped their pizza game. So I would go Domino's first, and then, man, I would go like do like the mini pizza chains count? Like, does like Pie 5 count where you can like personalize your pizza?
Honestly,
or pizza.
I'd even say like Giordano. I feel like everyone. I just wanted to make it so like people would know the places and like it. But I think people have been to like Giordano's. So if you want that to put that on your list, go ahead if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it on the list because it's not like a true national chain. Like you can only really get it in Chicago.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So if we're gonna include like the personal pizzas, then I would go Pie 5. Like they do a great job with their personalized pizzas, and then Mod Pizza too. I mean, I would probably go. Those would be my 3 because Papa John's is like way price for what they put on in your box. And then Pizza Hut, like they've done this thing recently where they just like don't put any cheese on the pizza. Like they just like sprinkle cheese, and if you want actual cheese, you have to order extra cheese, which is absurd. And then I can't even really think of any other ones. Like Little Caesars, like that stuff's trash too. Like Like, see, this is why I'm a pizza connoisseur, because I want the real pizza. But yeah, if I had to go with them, I'd go like Domino's, Pie 5, and Mod, because I feel like all those are solid, and the rest are just iffy on what you're gonna get. It's funny like how I got that. I actually do love pizza, but when I was on the Texas beat, I was called the Pizza Boy because this like crazy Texas A&M writer, so going back to like the Aggies, this like crazy Texas A&M writer was like, EJ sucks at his job. He doesn't even do this full time at 24/7. He's a part-time pizza delivery boy. And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Because I definitely was not a part-time pizza delivery boy, but it kind of stuck. It was just, a play on it. But I actually do love pizza. It's cool. I've had it in Italy too, and it's not as good as like New York. So, yeah, my favorite place to go is Spring Street, anytime in Manhattan, and then here in Chicago, I haven't had a chance to really like venture out too many yet, but Giordano's is definitely A1. So if you come up to Chicago, definitely give that a try for sure.
All right. You said New York pizza over Chicago pizza, or?
No, I love deep dish. I'm definitely, yeah, no, I did not say that. Do
Oh,
not put
sorry.
words. I'm a
That's
Chicago. I'm a
my
Chicago
bad.
guy now, so I'm sticking with Chicago deep dish. No, I really do love deep dish. You know, a lot of people, I didn't realize like the hate that people had for deep
Yeah.
dish. Like, what is this? I love deep dish. It's my favorite type of pizza, which is cool that I now live in Chicago. And when things actually open up, I can, go check it out because I've only lived in Chicago for like 4 months. So I haven't really had a chance to check out the other deep dish style pizzas. But the best pizza I've ever had is Spring Street in New York. And I want to say there's a couple other spots that I can't think of like names off the top of my head. But I mean, New York has awesome pizza. Prince Street is another one. So yeah, but I'm not saying New York over Chicago. I just haven't had a chance to have all my Chicago pizza, but I definitely love the Chicago style.
I apologize. I didn't mean to put words in your mouth. My bad.
It's all good.
All right. I think that's all we got so far, or all the questions I have for you today. All of EJ's social media links will be in the description below, as well as the Junior Colson article. I would definitely recommend giving that a read. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right. Now we will move on to our next segment, voicemail questions. Take it away, Max. All right.
Thank you for EJ Holland for stopping in and doing that interview with Ben. Hope you guys enjoyed that. He's a really good guy. Definitely go follow what he's doing out on the recruiting trail right now and subscribe to Rivals if you haven't. We're all team Rivals. We're not team 24/7.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Moving into the last segment of our podcast here, Unpopular Opinions. Ryan, what do you got for us?
So my unpopular opinion this week is going to be one that might not be so unpopular amongst the Michigan fan base, but it's definitely unpopular amongst other people. So mine is that the 2021 football class will be the first football class to be able to beat Ohio State at least 1 year. I think that this class, I know that people used to be worried about it, but in the recent days, it's been picking up steam, and I think that with JJ McCarthy at the helm, I think that this is going to be a great team or a great class, and that I think that they are going to be the ones that finally get over the hump and beat Ohio State.
Yeah, that's a good one. I have an unpopular opinion that I actually said it earlier, and evidently it's not as unpopular as maybe I thought. But my take is I absolutely hate summer weather. Like, it's too hot. It's too humid. There's fucking mosquitoes flying around all over the place. I'm a big-time golfer, and golfing sucks in the summer. Your hands get all sweaty, and it's just uncomfortable. So I'm more of like a spring and a fall weather type of person. I don't know. Like, my ideal temperature is like 75, like maybe 70, 75. And once it gets like 85 and humid, it just sucks. Also, this answer could be motivated by the fact that my air conditioning at work and at home is both broken right now.
Rip.
So like I haven't felt air conditioning this year yet, besides in my car, which I try not to do that because you know what? I'm trying to save gas mileage. I'm trying to boost it up.
The hustle.
Yeah, I don't make that. When you run your AC, your car gets terrible gas mileage. I don't know if you guys knew that. So, yeah, so that's my unpopular opinion. Summer weather is terrible, and especially if you don't have a pool. I'm lucky enough to have a pool. Some people who don't have a pool, like if you don't have a pool, I don't know what the point of summer.
That was a flex, bro. There was
nice flex there.
There was no flex there. Come on.
Just say like, oh yeah, I got a pool.
I was thinking about
I got a pool.
Max's preface, like this unpopular opinion, like before now. So I was thinking about it. I was like, it doesn't make sense to me because like I'm still in school, like I'm in high school. We're all in high school besides Max. So I feel like it's not that weird considering like summer's always like I assume for many students like the best time of the year, no school. But yeah, I feel like I can respect it because you are no longer in high school.
Yeah, summer fucking sucks. That's all I gotta say. There's nothing else to say about that.
All right, now transitioning to a sports-related unpopular opinion. Again, this might not be super unpopular with the Michigan fan base, but with the college football community as a whole, people might not like this. James Franklin is so overrated. It blows my mind. I mean, can we agree with this here? I mean,
Don't let Ant Wright see that.
oh yeah, but he's overrated. Like,
Who, Ant?
no, not no.
Whoa,
Ant's amazing. I love Ant. But
Suck his dick.
James Franklin, his career rides off of this 1 year where he gets lucky, a field goal gets blocked, they return it for a touchdown. Oh yeah, you upset Ohio State. You lost to Pitt. Michigan blew you out, and then you lose your bowl game to USC, a team who I didn't think was better than Penn State that year. So, like, they were not the best team in the Big Ten that year. They were the third best
Honestly,
team in the
I
Big
agree
Ten
with
that
that.
year, in my opinion. Michigan beat them by 39, I think. Ohio State is going to win that game 9 times out of 10 in the whiteout, probably. Like, they beat Wisconsin, so I can't really say that. But it was an upset against Ohio State, and it took a controversial call and some other controversial calls against Michigan in the game for them to make the Big Ten championship game. They got every break possible, and they win the Big Ten, just miss out of the playoffs. And also something I found funny that year is that the College Football Committee ranked Penn State ahead of Michigan, despite Michigan beating them by 39. So a conference championship is more valuable than head-to-head, which doesn't seem to make much sense because they had the same record.
I mean, neither of us made the playoffs. So
Jacob, all I'll say is this.
I don't know. It just kind of hurt, but now today I saw a ranking that ranked James Franklin as the best coach in the Big Ten, which is dumb. It's Ryan Day. Sorry, he made the playoff, and a coach in his first year, his first full year, he went undefeated.
He didn't.
He had one great year. Congratulations.
I mean, I'd say the same thing about Ryan Day. He had one great year.
But
all right,
he went undefeated in dominant fashion. It wasn't a fluke.
I mean, I know.
But what I'm saying, Penn State had more opportunities to beat Ohio State.
Bro.
They had double-digit leads 2 straight years in the fourth quarter, lost both times. They had a 4th and 5 chance, on a possible game-winning drive, and they run a draw, which gets snuffed out like a 3-yard. It doesn't get close. It was a mind-blowing play call. So
Jacob,
James
all I'm going to
Franklin
say
is not that good.
All I'm going to say is
All I'm
this.
going to say.
All I'm going to say is this. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with your take. I'm just going to ask you a question. Would you trade the last 5 years that Michigan has had for the last 5 years that Penn State has had?
With a win against, actually,
Yeah.
I will give him yes, because they beat Ohio State. That's it. I get that off my back. But
they've beaten Ohio State. They've won a Big Ten. They've played Ohio State closer.
Yeah. They've definitely been more
a
successful.
loss is a loss.
And honestly, and their record against Michigan too, if I
He's
believe
2-4 against Michigan. He lost to
2
Brady
and 3.
Hoke.
It's 2 and I'm saying I'm head-to-head against Harbaugh. It's 2 and 3, and I believe the home team has won all 4 games.
Yeah.
Is that
They
correct?
need a whiteout to beat us.
Or all 5 games.
And
I'm
even
sorry.
when they had a whiteout, they couldn't beat a below-average Michigan team.
Bro, I think you got
It took a drop by Ronnie Bell.
I feel like you got some
beat him.
anger. I don't know if this is about James.
No, I'm just passionate
bro.
about this take. James Franklin is not that good. He's not that good.
I mean, he's been better than Harbaugh. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm not. Did I say Jim Harbaugh's that great?
I mean,
Sure.
I mean, he's been a bit disappointing. That's a
good-
universally known take.
all right,
I'm with
man.
you. If your take is James Franklin is overrated and the fact that he's number 1 in the Big Ten, like on that one poll, I agree. That's
James.
a joke.
I think James Franklin. Yes, you could definitely make an argument he's better than Harbaugh, but James Franklin is overrated, but Harbaugh is over scrutinized. Those can both be true.
I agree.
That's my take. There we go.
After that 45-minute fucking segment, I'm up, boys.
You're welcome.
I got this is non even college related, but I think it has to be said. I think I said something about this maybe this week or last week, but I think Devin Booker is the most overrated player in the NBA. I think the man he's been on the Suns for 5 years. His highest win total for a season, keep in mind these are 81 game seasons, 24 games. That's all I'm gonna say.
82. He plays for the
82,
Suns.
my
What do you
bad.
want him to do?
I'm gonna say right now, like, you can't win. I don't give a fuck who's on your team. You can't win 24 games and be like considered a snub from the All-Star game.
He's averaging 26, 4, and 7 on 49% shooting. Explain how he is overrated.
Because
this dude's averaging 26 in the NBA, and Ben's calling him overrated. Oof.
He dropped 70 once, and they still lost.
Yeah, because dude, okay, firstly,
I was like,
his defense is fucking trash. Let's get that out of the park.
A lot of people in the NBA's defense.
Yeah,
is trash.
I don't think
defense
that's
in the NBA is overall not that great.
I mean, the NBA defense, obviously, they play so many games that
LeBron stopped playing defense 4 years ago. So
yeah, but LeBron also makes the playoffs. Besides last year, I mean, D-Book has not made the playoffs yet. I mean,
because his team around him has sucked.
His
If you look at the Suns,
DeAndre Ayton.
Listen,
Ayton.
If you look at the Suns, they've had like how many coaches in 5 years? They've had like 5 different coaches in 5 years. Their GM does not know how to build a team, and the first time that they've actually made a half decent draft pick that didn't bust is probably going to be DeAndre Ayton.
All I'm going to say is you got to.
Here is a list of players who are on the Phoenix Suns: Javon Carter, Cheikh Diallo, Jared Harper, Ty Jerome, Frank Kaminsky. Haven't heard about him very much since he left Wisconsin. Jalen Leck, Elia Kobo.
You're just listing their bench.
Yeah, because this is over half the roster. They're garbage. You need a good bench to win games. All right. Ricky Rubio. Ooh, wow. Kelly Oubre.
Rubio is one of the. This is a take, but he's
Mikal Bridges.
Players. Scoring.
Aaron Baines. Woo, that sounds like a great team.
That team was worse than I thought. Holy shit.
Yeah, their team somehow played somewhat well this year, and I think that if anyone is trying to say, if anyone's trying to argue that Booker should have carried that team to the playoffs, nobody is carrying that team to the playoffs, dude.
Even
Nobody's
if you put
carrying
LeBron on that team, I have doubts is making the playoffs.
I promise you, LeBron's taking that team to the playoffs.
He couldn't make the Lakers. He couldn't take the Lakers to the playoffs.
He was fucking injured, bro.
This is super unfair.
They were barely above 500 when he was playing, technically.
Now we're comparing Devin Booker to LeBron, and that's not
I'm just saying it's unfair to say Devin Booker is overrated because his team doesn't win games.
It's super unfair. That's what I'm saying. Like, if your take is that he's overrated because he couldn't carry that team to the playoffs, and your take is, well, LeBron could have done it, that doesn't mean he's overrated.
I don't think LeBron could have.
Okay, firstly, that's just you guys just put words in my mouth. I'm saying he's overrated because he's been in the league 5 years and they can't win a fucking game.
26 points per game.
26. All right,
wait, okay. Would you? I'm not that big of a stat guy. I think stats can be overshadowing because stats don't mean anything if your fucking team doesn't win the game. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, since Westbrook
is trash.
So since Westbrook can't make it out of the second round, is he worse than Chris Paul right now?
Yeah, Chris Paul's very good.
Okay,
Westbrook,
we're not talking NBA on here with Ben anymore.
Wait, why? You're not a Chris Paul guy? Did you watch this?
No,
year?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that current Chris Paul is not better than Russell Westbrook currently. He's not. He's worse at basically every stat except for maybe shooting.
I mean,
Westbrook is super aggressive.
I mean, I'd rather have Chris Paul on my team. Westbrook is a better scorer.
Chris Paul took the Thunder single-handedly almost to the playoffs. They weren't supposed to be good at all, and they were in the playoff picture.
Yes, because
Westbrook isn't a good teammate.
No, what I'm asking you
I'd rather
is who's the better player, not team player. Who's the better player?
Except the way you are as a teammate is part of how good you are as a player.
Okay.
So you're telling me that current Chris Paul is better than current Russell Westbrook?
Chris Paul.
No, Westbrook has more skill, but I'd rather have Chris Paul on my team. Is what I'm saying.
Asking you who is better.
Westbrook.
How do you measure that?
But
how do you measure
the way you go with your teammates matters. This is
with a ruler. That's how you measure it.
Look, Devin Booker is averaging more points this year than LeBron.
But he's overrated though.
He's overrated.
No, I think people look at that. That's exactly what I'm saying. You're looking at that stat solely, and you're not looking at the fact that LeBron.
How can you outscore LeBron and be overrated?
Hold on. Hey, Jacob, did you have a stat? Did you say he's 50% shooting?
Almost. It's 48, 49%.
So he's pretty damn efficient while averaging 26 per game.
He's not just chucking up random What Russell Westbrook type shots?
I don't know. I mean, you guys don't have to agree, but I'm just gonna say it right now. He played 62 games this year.
All right, you're a
and
bad
they won
take.
fucking. I don't know.
But I don't see how you can have
Okay,
a
I'm just
shooting
gonna say it
guard,
right
a
now.
shooting guard,
Like
a
we don't
shooting
all have
guard
to agree on everything.
averaging
That's
26.
the point, Ben.
I know, but like you guys don't. I mean, I'm not gonna change my mind for you guys saying
We're
that.
not asking you to change your mind. We're
Okay.
just
We're
telling
just
you that
saying
your
your
opinion
reasoning is
stinks.
flawed. You're not backing it up. You're just saying, oh, the Suns are bad. So
Yeah, that's my
Your
reason.
one backup, your one counterpoint is that he doesn't win games. I don't
No,
think that's
all
enough.
I'm gonna say is I'm not saying he's a bad player. Okay, can you guys listen to me for 2 minutes?
Well, that's
And then-
okay. Just please give us real reasoning.
I mean, I tried to, and you guys interrupted me in the first 10 seconds.
Okay.
It's quite rude. I'm gonna be honest.
'Cause it was
Ben's,
kind of dumb.
Ben's getting so sensitive.
Indivi-
It's all
like,
love though. bro.
Evaluating a player based on how the team does is not right.
I thought I was gonna talk. Oh shit.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I just want to
Quarterback
point
wins
something out.
don't
real quick.
matter.
No, I'm
I just
just
wanna point
okay.
something
Can
out real quick.
no, I was not. Okay, all right, whatever. I just can't talk.
So mad, bro.
I just can't voice my unpopular opinion. That's all I'm gonna
Let
say.
me
It's
say something.
unpopular for
No,
a reason.
Just
You guys-
really quickly,
It's my
let me say
opinion.
something,
I'm trying
and then
to,
I'll
I'm trying to
and
voice
then I'll
my
stop.
reasoning.
I'll stop after this. Devin Booker's defensive win shares in 62 games, which is exactly 20 less than a regular season. His defensive win shares was 1.2. That's already pretty good. It's definitely above average. It's not as bad as you're saying.
Wow.
And what?
I'm just asking to voice my opinion. I didn't ask for yours. I'm just kidding.
He's
I'm
so
just kidding,
mad.
bro. I'm
This
just okay,
dude is literally
you give
pissed.
me a minute to literally talk. To literally just talk.
Hey, Ben, the floor is yours.
All right. Devin Booker, I'm not saying he's a bad player. You guys, I think you were trying to make it sound like that way. I'm saying that people look at what he scores and his offensive stats, and they think he's this godly player who's an elite player. I'm talking like people are. What I mean, okay, I was gonna talk, but I think if you only look at someone's stats, it's not an accurate measure of how good of a player they are. I think he's very overrated because I mean you say he's on a bad team, but I think the teammates around him are seemed as bad because he's not the best team player. That's all I'm gonna say.
How many stories have you come out like
Hold on.
this is in the social media era? If Booker was a bad teammate, we would have heard all about it by now.
It's not. I'm not saying he's a mean teammate. I'm saying he, similar to players like Kyrie Irving, don't make his teammates that much better, even though he's very good.
His assist percentage is 30.2%. That's very high.
Okay.
Hold up. I have something to say too. Ben's exact quote was sometimes stats, don't tell the whole story. And I get that. Like that's true, but
very true.
But he also 26 points per game on 50% shooting. What do you want from the guy? I don't those stats are important. He's putting the ball in the basket and putting the ball in the basket at an efficient rate. What I don't understand. What are we doing here?
To be seen as a superstar player, I think you have to win a couple of games. That's the last thing I'm going to say about this.
No, this is an individual thing. This is something that makes me mad with the best player ever debate. They say the finals record and that's the debate. Have you seen the rosters LeBron had in the finals compared to MJ's?
LeBron really only had one horrible team, if we're being honest.
2007 was trash. Did you see his roster in 2018? It's laughable how that team got to the
but
finals.
that 2007 one was hilarious to me. Looking down the roster, I laugh out loud every time.
But if you look, dude, he played two teams. The first two rounds, he played two teams that were literally 41 and 41.
Okay.
So I mean, then he played
then he got through the Pistons.
A hurt Pistons team.
Still the Pistons.
I mean, I guess
physical defense.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if we ever need to fill time in a future episode, we should just bring up the NBA.
All right, yeah, we've gone too far now.
This is why we're college sports podcast. I apologize for bringing up the league.
Okay, so everyone good? Everyone has those unpopular opinions. Everyone's got it out of their system, right? We're good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's it. That's the end of the episode. I'm going to do my quick shout-outs that I do at the end of every episode. Shout out to our editor, Quentin Cole. He's actually on the call right now. If you want to unmute yourself and say hi, feel free to. You don't have to. Shout out to our graphics guy, Michael. He's the man. Shout out to all 26 members of the official Michigan group chat. If you're not in the group chat, I don't know what to tell you. You're screwed. Shout out to Harambe. He was tragically taken from us 4 years ago. And it's a tough topic for me to talk about. So I'm gonna try to move on here. Shout out to Lil Dicky, Bernie Sanders, Mitch McGarry, and Drew Dillio. Those are all my shout outs for the week.
All the
Tommy, you said Bernie.
Yeah, I
Tommy.
hope everyone is staying safe out there. Thanks again for listening to Maize and Blue Corner. Go Blue.